In this tribute video, we honor 9 American legends who have passed away today and in recent days. Welcome back to Movie Newscast. These remarkable individuals made lasting contributions to their fields, and we sadly say goodbye to them. Our heartfelt condolences go out to their families and fans. As we remember their legacies, we invite you to show your support by giving this video a thumbs up if their lives or work have touched you in any way. Your gesture is a sign of respect and remembrance. J. Richard Munroe dies. CEO who led the creation of Time Warner and HBO was 93. The former chairman and CEO of Time Incorporated, who led the storied publisher's 1989 merger with Warner Communications, and was a driving force in the early success of HBO, has died. He was 93. His son Mac told the New York Times that Munroe died August 11 in Naples, FL. As chairman and CEO, Munroe is best known for crafting the merger with Warner Communications, creating what at the time was the world's largest media and entertainment company. In the go-go-M and A environment of the late 80s, it took Munroe and his team, which included future Time Warner CEO Gerald Levin, 2 years to find the right partner. All the while, they were under pressure from shareholders to fend off competition from foreign conglomerates such as Bertelsmann and News Corp. Even when they found the right match, the deal almost was scuttled by a hostile bid from Paramount and objections to then Warner CEO Stephen Ross' huge paycheck. But Munroe saw it through, running the company with Ross as co-CEOs and co-chairman for a year after the agreement was consummated. Munroe retired in 1990. He considered the deal his major legacy at the company. Along with son Mac, Munroe's survivors include Carol, his wife of 61 years, sons Mac, John and Doug, 6 grandchildren, and his brother, Bill, The Times reported. Olympic marathon runner Rebecca Cheptegei dies after being set on fire in gasoline attack by boyfriend. A Ugandan athlete who appeared in the 2024 Paris Olympics has died after reportedly being set on fire by her boyfriend in Kenya. As previously reported by People, distance runner Rebecca Cheptegei, 33, suffered 75% burns on her body after her boyfriend allegedly doused her in gasoline and set her on fire at her home in Trans Nzoia County in western Kenya on Sunday, September 1, police said, per the Associated Press, BBC News, and ESPN. On Thursday, September 5, it was reported Cheptegei had died from her injuries, per local outlets The Daily Nation, The Standard, and The Star. The update comes after Trans Nzoia County Police Commander Jeremiah Ol-Kozium said Monday that the attack happened during a dispute between Cheptegei and her boyfriend Dixon Dima. The couple were heard quarreling outside their house, he told journalists, per the BBC. During the altercation, the boyfriend was seen pouring a liquid on the woman before burning her. Dima also sustained serious burns in the fire. The pair were put out by neighbors and transported to MTRH for specialized treatment. The couple were described as having been heard arguing over the land the home was built on before the incident, per a report filed by the local police obtained by AP. Kozium told The Standard, Dima is believed to have sneaked into the compound at around 2:00 p.m. on Sunday, while the wife and the children were in church. Upon returning, Dixon, who had procured petrol, began pouring it on Rebecca before he set her ablaze. Charles Cyphers dies. Halloween actor was 85. Charles Cyphers, best known for his role as Lee Brackett in the Halloween films, died Sunday, August 4 from a brief illness in Tucson, AZ. His manager, Chris Rowe, confirmed to Deadline. He was 85. Charles was a lovable and sensitive man, Rowe said in a statement. He always had the best stories, and you got a full performance while he told you. He was a close friend and client of many years who will be dearly missed. His family asks for privacy at this time, Rowe added. Details on a celebration of life ceremony will happen at a date and location to be determined. His other film credits include 1978's Coming Home, 1979's The Onion Field, 1982's Honky Tonk Man, 1989's Major League, 1995's Murder in the First, among others. His television work includes a recurring role as Hugo Muncie in The Betty White Show, and guest starring roles in Gibbsville, Barnaby Jones, Wonder Woman, and The Dukes of Hazzard, as well as the role of Drake in the 1977 miniseries Roots. He most recently appeared in Sliders, ER, Seinfeld, Judge, and Any Day Now. His most extensive role was in the 1990s series Nick Freno, License Teacher, in which he portrayed Al Yeager. Daniel M. Selznick dies. Director, producer, executive with ties to early Hollywood, was 88. Daniel Mayer Selznick, one of Hollywood's last direct connections to the industry's founding families, died of natural causes on Thursday, August 1 at the Motion Picture Country home in Woodland Hills, California at 88. He had been a longtime and beloved resident at the retirement home, overseeing the construction of the Louis B. Mayer Theater on the campus, and also speaking at the opening of the remodeled theater complex in 2017. During his time at the Motion Picture Home, he wrote a memoir, Walking with Kings, which will be published next year by Alfred Knopf. The book recounts in vivid detail the author's recollections of growing up as a young prince of Hollywood. The younger son of iconic film producer David O. Selznick and theatrical producer Iron Mayer Selznick, as well as the grandson of MGM mogul Louis B. Mayer and his first wife, Margaret Schenberg Mayer, Daniel Selznick grew up in Beverly Hills. Selznick also had notable success as a theatrical producer. He presented his beloved stepmother, Jennifer Jones, in a charming light comedy, The Man with the Perfect Wife. Married 3 times, Selznick has no immediate survivors. Donations in Selznick's memory may be made to MPTF. Joey Tufaro dies. Producer for Kidnap and Maggie was 58. Joseph Joey Tufaro, a producer best known for Kidnap, 2017, and Maggie, 2015, died at home in Lakeview, Louisiana on July 21 at 58. No cause was given. Tufaro was also a co-founder of Gold Star Films, which aims to increase film production in Louisiana. Born in New Orleans, he earned a degree in business and finance from Loyola University of New Orleans. After a successful 20-plus-year career as a real estate developer and a brief stint of owning minority interest in several car dealerships, he turned his sights on learning how Hollywood finances independent films. It was a natural fit for him to become a producer when his home state of Louisiana initiated state film tax credits. He is survived by his wife of 6 years, Maiden Rutherford Tufaro, daughters Kaylee and Kirsten Tufaro, sons Liam and Grayson Tufaro, mother Stephanie Tufaro, sister Julie Tufaro, and niece Mia Huffstutler. Sean Gallagher dies. Former Discovery exec and Half Yard Productions founder was 57. Sean Gallagher, one of the founders of Say Yes to the dress producer Half Yard Productions, who spent over a decade at Discovery, died July 19 of cancer. He was 57. Gallagher was heralded as a pioneer of reality television and a kingmaker as the industry took shape in its early years. Friends and colleagues, including Warner Bros. Discovery boss David Zaslav and former A+E Network CEO Nancy Dubuc, paid tribute to Gallagher. Gallagher, who was born in Bloomington, Indiana and raised in Bangor, Maine, is survived by his wife, Deirdre Gallagher, and children Finian, Fiona, and Declan Gallagher. He relished and burnished with pride to talk about his kids' grit and competitiveness, whether it was his son Finn at lacrosse, his daughter Fiona at triathlons, or his youngest son Declan at ice hockey. The Gallagher grit was a family hallmark, and it bred our awe and respect. He worked to live, not the other way around, added Greensfelder. The shining star Shelley Duvall dead at 75. Shelley Duvall, the actress best known for her role in The Shining, died Thursday, just 4 days after her 75th birthday. Dan Gilroy, Duvall's partner since 1989, told The Hollywood Reporter that she died in her sleep at her home in Blanco, Texas, due to complications from diabetes. "My dear, sweet, wonderful life partner and friend left us. Too much suffering lately, now she's free. Fly away, beautiful Shelley," Gilroy said. Duvall began acting after being discovered by Robert Altman, who cast her in the 1970 black comedy film Brewster McCloud. Despite being hesitant about acting, Duvall continued to flourish in her career while working alongside the director. She appeared in McCabe and Mrs. Miller in 1971 and starred in Thieves Like Us 3 years later. Duvall landed her breakthrough role in Altman's cult film Nashville, which was released in 1975. She later won the Cannes Film Festival Award for Best Actress and earned a British Academy Film Award nomination for Best Actress in a leading role for her character in the 1977 film Three Women, which Altman also helmed. In 1980, Duvall starred in her two most famous films, Popeye and The Shining. In the latter, directed by Stanley Kubrick, she played Wendy Torrance, the tortured wife of Jack Nicholson's stir-crazy character, Jack Torrance. Duvall infamously said Kubrick treated her horribly throughout the psychological horror's 13-month shoot, telling People in 1981 that the famed filmmaker had her crying 12 hours a day for weeks on end. Nevertheless, she continued to make film and TV appearances throughout the 80s and 90s. However, in 2002, she took a hiatus from acting and public life. The reclusive actress re-emerged in 2016 with a polarizing appearance on Dr. Phil. She was struggling with her mental health at the time, leading many viewers to accuse host Phil McGraw of exploiting her. Kubrick's daughter Vivian even called for a boycott before it aired. Duvall participated in another rare interview last year, in which she revealed to People that she had relocated to Texas in 2002 after her brother was diagnosed with spinal cancer. Robert Towne, Oscar-winning writer of Chinatown, dies at 89. Robert Towne, the Oscar-winning screenplay writer of Shampoo, The Last Detail, and other acclaimed films, whose work on Chinatown became a model of the art form and helped define the jaded allure of his native Los Angeles, has died. He was 89. Towne died Monday surrounded by family at his home in Los Angeles, said publicist Carrie McClure. She declined to comment on any cause of death. In an industry which gave birth to rueful jokes about the writer's status, Towne for a time held prestige comparable to the actors and directors he worked with. Through his friendships with two of the biggest stars of the 1960s and 70s, Warren Beatty and Jack Nicholson, he wrote or co-wrote some of the signature films of an era when artists held an unusual level of creative control. The rare auteur among screenwriters, Towne managed to bring a highly personal and influential vision of Los Angeles onto the screen. Towne was born Robert Bertram Schwartz in Los Angeles and moved to San Pedro after his father's business, a dress shop, closed down because of the Great Depression. His father changed the family name to Towne. He had always loved to write and was inspired to work in movies by the proximity of the Warner Bros. Theater and from reading the critic James A.G. For a time, Towne worked on a tuna boat and would speak often of its impact. "I've identified fishing with writing in my mind to the extent that each script is like a trip that you're taking, and you are fishing," he told the Writers Guild Association in 2013. Sometimes they both involve an act of faith. Sometimes it's sheer faith alone that sustains you, because you think, "God damn it, nothing, not a bite today, nothing is happening." Michael Douglas is a renowned actor and producer known for iconic roles in films like Wall Street, Fatal Attraction, and Basic Instinct. He won an Academy Award for his portrayal of Gordon Gekko in Wall Street, and has also produced films like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Michael met his second wife, Catherine Zeta-Jones, through his successful career in Hollywood. During an interview, he once reflected on their first meeting, as they were introduced at the Deauville Film Festival in 1998. "At our first meeting, I told Catherine that I was going to be the father of her children," he revealed. Asked if it was a pickup line, or whether he knew that for sure, Douglas answered, "At that point, I didn't know. We had cocktails that evening, and obviously, it took me a few drinks to tell her that." When asked how Catherine reacted, the film star shared that she told him that she had heard a lot about him. Although he made a bold statement that day, it ultimately turned out to be prophetic. The couple married in November 2000 and has since welcomed 2 children, Dylan and Carice Douglas. In an April 2024 interview, the family man opened up about the experience of parenting in his 70s. He shared that has made him a better father despite sometimes being mistaken for his children's grandfather. Reflecting on a moment at his children's university, the 79-year-old actor humorously recalled, "This is not Grandfather's Day, this is Parents' Day. I say, I am a parent. That was a rough one." Michael also acknowledged that being part of a second family with Catherine has helped him grow as a father, admitting he faced struggles during his first marriage. Now raising Dylan, 23, and Carice, 20, from his marriage to Catherine, he described the journey as a good ride. Their relationship, marked by mutual admiration and respect, has been one of Hollywood's enduring love stories. Even their age gap hasn't been a factor, as the Zorro actress is over 2 decades younger than Michael. When asked whether he has concerns about his daughter Carice potentially marrying an older man like her mother did, Michael admitted that, based on her experiences so far, it's a possibility. Her father is an older guy, so that could very well be. People follow the patterns, so she might be attracted to older guys. Not the worst thing that can happen, by the way, said the filmmaker. Michael noted that his wife is 25 years younger than him and expressed that he's a much better husband now than he would have been several years earlier. Despite having a harmonious marriage, the actor, who was previously diagnosed with throat cancer, and Catherine, who has bipolar I disorder, have faced challenging times together. In August 2013, insiders reported that the couple had separated, as the stress from each of their diagnoses had put a strain on their 13-year marriage. Catherine's publicist at the time revealed that the pair had decided to separate to evaluate and work on their marriage. However, their separation was brief, as they soon called off their divorce and reunited. After their reconciliation, reports revealed that Catherine was on top of the world. Friends also shared that after living apart, the duo decided to work on their marriage, with Michael moving back into their New York home. He has now been married to Catherine for almost 24 years. His first marriage to film producer Diandra Luker lasted a little over 2 decades. Amomema featured side-by-side photos of Michael with both of his wives, sparking comparisons among readers about the appearances of his first wife and his current spouse. One reader commented, "The first wife is prettier than Catherine Zeta-Jones." Another noted, "The first wife." Meanwhile, others praised both women for their stunning looks. "Both are very beautiful, but I think his first wife was more naturally attractive," wrote one reader. While another observed, "First wife is very beautiful and natural, the second wife is beautiful but enchanted makeup-wise." Although Catherine is over 20 years younger than Michael, his first wife, Diandra, is 14 years his junior. Diandra and Michael once had a whirlwind romance that seemed like a fairy tale. Then, a 19-year-old student at Georgetown, Diandra met the 32-year-old actor, and he proposed after just 2 weeks. They married 6 weeks later in 1977. And their son Cameron Douglas was born the following year. However, Diandra struggled to adjust to the Hollywood lifestyle, having grown up in a small town in Spain before attending Swiss and American boarding schools. "I felt fairly lost in that world. the world of hype and endless make-believe, she shared in a March 2011 interview. Despite her success in society, philanthropy, and documentary production, their marriage eventually faltered. Reflecting on their 18-year relationship, which included Michael's 1992 rehab stay, D'Andra stated, "For years, I've never said a word to anyone." Amidst their marriage going downhill, their son, Cameron, now 45, faced his own struggles, including a severe heroin addiction. He later became involved in dealing methamphetamine, a charge to which he ultimately pled guilty. Michael has since openly expressed regret for missing out on his eldest son Cameron's childhood, attributing it to being overloaded by his Hollywood career. In an April 2024 interview, the father of three admitted that his intense work schedule with his ex-wife D'Andra led him to prioritize work and other responsibilities over family. He even wrote to a judge during one of Cameron's legal cases, taking responsibility as a bad father. He reflected on that period and said, "Cameron suffered a lot from that time. I was just overwhelmed and overloaded by my work. And family was really taking third place after work, our country and then the family, as opposed to when Catherine and I got together." Michael Douglas and the mother of his son divorced in June 2000 following 23 years of marriage. Years later, D'Andra reflected on their time together. She reflected on her relationship with Michael, stating, "I loved Michael very much when I married him," while expressing that she believes love never truly disappears. D'Andra and the two-time Oscar winner later became embroiled in a legal dispute over whether she was entitled to part of his earnings from Wall Street. Money Never Sleeps, as the original was made during their marriage. Their divorce led to one of Hollywood's largest settlements at the time, reportedly $45 million, plus their Santa Barbara estate. Adding to that was Michael's cancer diagnosis, which further fueled media attention. D'Andra defended her actions, insisting she was unaware of his illness when she filed her claim and expressed internal conflict over pursuing the matter. D'Andra shared that despite their messy divorce and legal battle, she harbors no ill feelings toward Michael's new family with Catherine Zeta-Jones. "I'm really happy that he is madly in love and has two lovely children," she said in an interview. Bernice Johnson Reagan, a founder of the Freedom Singers and Sweet Honey in the Rock, has died. Bernice Johnson Reagan, a civil rights activist who co-founded the Freedom Singers and later started the African-American vocal ensemble Sweet Honey in the Rock, died Tuesday at the age of 81. Her daughter, the acclaimed musician Tashi Reagan, shared the news of her mother's passing Wednesday night in a public Facebook post. It is impossible to separate liberation struggles from song, and in the 1960s, at marches and in jailhouses, the voice leading those songs was often Bernice Johnson Reagan. Her work as a scholar and activist continued throughout her life, in universities and concert halls, at protests, and in houses of worship. The future songleader was born in Southwest Georgia, the daughter of a Baptist minister. She was admitted to a historically black public college, Albany State, at the age of 16 and studied music. Albany GA would become an important center of the civil rights movement when the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. was arrested there in 1962, causing the media to descend on the town. In 1963, Bernice Johnson married Freedom Singers co-founder Cordell Reagan. They had two children, Quantana and Tashi, who would go on to become a musical star in her own right. After her 1967 divorce, Reagan returned to school, received a Ford Foundation Fellowship, and founded the women's a cappella group Sweet Honey in the Rock. Her activism grew to encompass the anti-apartheid movement. She became a leading scholar of Black musical life. In 1974, she received a music history appointment at the Smithsonian. A year later, she added the title of doctor after receiving a Ph.D. from Howard University. In 1989, she won a Genius Grant from the MacArthur Foundation. In 1994, she created a 26-part NPR documentary called Wade in the Water that won a Peabody Award. And in 1995, she was awarded the Presidential Medal and the Charles Frankel Prize. Today, we honor the lives and legacies of those who have left us. With gratitude and respect, we remember the profound impact they made and cherish the memories they left behind. May they find eternal peace, and may their contributions continue to guide us. We remember J. Richard Monroe, Rebecca Cheptegei Charles Seyfers, Daniel M. Selznick, Joey Tufaro, Sean Gallagher, Shelley Duvall, Robert Town, and Bernice Johnson Reagan. May they rest in peace, and may God bring comfort to their families.